Good morning, everybody. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I'm pleased to be joined today by Assemblymember and Mayor-elect Todd Gloria, our City Council member and Assemblymember-elect Chris Ward, President and CEO of the San Diego Housing Commission, Rick Gentry, Tamra Kohler, who is the CEO of the Regional Task Force on the Homeless, and the President and CEO of the San Diego Convention Center, Rip Ripito, joins us as well, and Bob Mcelroy, who is CEO of the Alpha Project. As I said, again, thank you all for being here. Quite a lineup to talk really about some of the life-changing work that has happened here at this operation and what we plan for the future. But let me perhaps take a step back into time at the beginning of COVID, when many of us first heard of the very vulnerable populations and what this could do, COVID could do, and the effects on those vulnerable populations. I was immediately taken back to 2017 and the impact that a single virus had on our region's homeless. And I knew that we could not, as a region, hesitate to take action, knowing that lives were at stake. So in March, as I think all of you know, I directed our teams to set up a homeless branch out of our city's Emergency Operations Center, literally in that first week. I remember dropping by on those first days, seeing Tamra with the RTFH, Keeley, Halsey, Lisa Jones from the Housing Commission, and many others, mapping out on a whiteboard what would be our approach. Molly remembers that very well, as I see Molly Chase as well. And really it was, how do we completely reorient our shelter system to distance people to prevent the spread of this virus? And second, if we are going to reimagine how we shelter folks, why not think creatively on how to navigate them into permanent housing more quickly? As I said from the very beginning, we should be able to look at every single individual and say, what are the barriers that are preventing that person from getting a place of their own? And the group that came here today together to announce the collaborative approach that, of course, we now refer to as Operation Shelter to Home. And it involved moving hundreds of individuals living in our shelters and hundreds more that were living on our streets into a safe place inside the San Diego Convention Center. Within weeks, we had over 800 individuals safely housed inside these very iconic walls, and began also welcoming hundreds off the streets. At one point, as I think you know, we reached 1,300 people per night. Currently, we serve approximately 900 people per day with meals, showers, laundry, and wraparound services with one goal. How do we keep people healthy and safe, but how do we get people back on their feet? This operation has lived up to its name and the objectives that we set for it. Early on, as I think you know, we established protocols for sanitation, maintaining distance, and how to move off-site and provide care for residents who became ill or who tested positive. And through our partners at the County Public Health, Father Joe's Villages, and La Maestra, we have been able to provide on-site medical and mental health care, regular COVID testing for all residents and staff, and flu vaccines and screenings for our new shelter clients. These efforts have made this a public health success story. Only 27 residents and staff testing positive out of more than 9,300 tests administered since April. That's incredible, and I think that deserves a round of applause for everybody's hard work. We were intentional from the start, and we saw right away that the benefits of combining homeless resources into one large facility and how we could take advantage of that to streamline efforts to get folks into the permanent housing that they so desperately need. The team at the San Diego Housing Commission and the Regional Task Force on the Homeless rolled up their sleeves, and they have really delivered. They worked with the VA to house our veterans. They worked with the county to increase access to Project One for All housing vouchers. And they removed barriers in San Diego's homeless system to more quickly match each person to the right housing for them. These collaborative efforts, with emphasis on the collaborative, have helped 840 individuals plus an additional 45 families get into housing already. And in the coming weeks, we will be moving hundreds more into 2 hotels purchased to create additional permanent units in Mission Valley and Kearny Mesa. I will just say that during a year that has been filled with so much uncertainty, there is one thing that we know to be true. San Diegans' homeless system has forever transformed by the work of Operation Shelter to Home and the many partners that have contributed to success. This is now a model. And this pandemic brought our region together like never before to work toward our shared goals of protecting our most vulnerable and removing the barriers to housing. And now over 1,100 people will have a place of their own to call home by the end of 2020. This is tremendous progress, and it triples what we've been able to accomplish in previous year. The work inside this convention center, as I said, has completely reimagined how we can provide the help and the services. I'd like to, before I conclude, recognize, as I said, many of the folks that you see behind me. This was a team effort from the very beginning. Many people deserve credit for the ongoing success that is here. First and foremost, Assemblymember Gloria, Mayor-elect Gloria, for the support, his support, champion up at the state of California. The San Diego Housing Commission and its president, CEO Rick Gentry. Rick knew from the very beginning that we had this opportunity. In fact, we started working on the purchase of hotels back in January, actually before the pandemic hit. The Regional Task Force on the Homeless and Tamra Kohler for all of their work in the city of San Diego, but Tamra has really made that focus on making this a region-wide effort with a great beacon of what's happening here, but region-wide. And of course, Councilmember Chris Ward, our Assemblymember-elect, who from the very beginning recognized the opportunity on what we could do with the RTFH to really transform people's lives. The County of San Diego, particularly Supervisors Greg Cox and Nathan Fletcher, for ensuring that this shelter was meeting all the public health standards and had nurses and mental health services. This has been a key to the overall success of the program. And of course, the convention center and its staff, including our friends at Centerplate, which provide nutritious meals and all of the help and the support. I had the opportunity to, I'm here frequently, as I think many of you know, and spent a little bit of time on Thanksgiving. And to see the convention center team down here, our Centerplate team, just speaks volumes about what San Diegans can do when we come together. I want to thank the San Diego Police Department, San Diego Fire Rescue and Lifeguard teams, including the Deputy Chief Chris Heiser, who served as the incident commander over this entire operation. This is really run, as I said, as an incident command, and I think that's been one of the ways that it was so successful from day one. The city's homeless strategy staff and members of not only my team, but obviously Keely Halsey, who has been behind this operation, making sure that we have involved all partners every step of the way. And of course, our city staff, who I think many of you saw over these last several months, that we had city personnel from our library, our parks, our recreation, our fleet, special events department, and more, who have been pitching in to help in any way they can. Folks who used to be librarians turned into housing navigators. That was part of the secret of success. And of course, our service providers, who have been incredible every single day and every single night in managing the needs of our clients and so many changes throughout the year as we have adapted. It has been remarkable, it has been professional, and a near seamless operation, with emphasis on the near. And I want to thank all of the staff for rising to the occasion and working with care and working with empathy and working with support. The actions that we have taken collectively have made a significant and fundamental change to homelessness in San Diego. And despite the toll that this pandemic has taken, the city's response to protecting our homeless community, is something that I'm very proud of. I'm very proud of this team. And I couldn't have asked for a more meaningful way as I enter the last week of my term as mayor. This was really and continues to be essential, life-changing work. As I said, that many people, not just behind me, but out there, that really deserve the work and credit. My remarks were a little normal than usual, for those that attend these press conferences know, but I felt it was important to go through where we have been and to give people the credit who have done such a remarkable job that has turned this convention center into a true beacon of hope that is changing lives. Not often can you say that. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce someone who has long been passionate about helping our homeless population. And I couldn't think of a better person who will now help to see this operation through as we enter our next phases. Please welcome my friend, Assemblymember and Mayor-elect Todd Gloria. Todd?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the introduction and for those comments. I want to thank Councilmember Chris Ward, soon-to-be Assemblymember Chris Ward. Looking forward to his swearing in on Monday, as well as our Housing Commission, Rick Gentry, our Regional Task Force on the Homeless, Tamra, and of course, Alpha Project. It's always good to see you, Bob, as well as our host, Rip, and his team here at the Convention Center. You know, I think back to where we were as the mayor was back in the springtime when we were faced with this unprecedented public health emergency, and where we as a state and as a country were increasingly telling people for their safety to stay home. And for myself and for many others who care deeply about our unsheltered population, we recognized the irony of telling people to stay home when they have no home at all. And that's why this particular effort was so very important. I was proud to partner with our governor and with Senator Tony Atkins to make sure that we got some of the initial state relief funds dedicated to this particular purpose to allow these doors to open. And then with the collaboration of our city and our county, our nonprofit partners, to be able to sustain this well into December, far longer than any of us had ever hoped that we'd need to do this, but it is what we must do. Today's announcement that we are successfully transitioning hundreds of San Diegans here at the Convention Center into permanent supportive housing is truly welcome news at a difficult time. And while it is extremely hard to think of any kind of way that COVID-19 has been a positive thing for any of us, the ecosystem that has been created here to help our region's homelessness is indeed a bright spot during difficult times. In short order, we were able to move our homeless off the streets and into shelter. We provided them with wraparound services on site. We protected them from COVID-19, and now we are successfully transitioning them into permanent supportive housing. Let me put it very simply, everybody. We need more of this in San Diego. This is a testament to what we can do if we choose to do it. It shouldn't take a pandemic to care about our unsheltered population. With bold, committed leadership and a willingness to collaborate, we can, in fact, resolve the difficult problems that we face as a community. And so as your next mayor, I am committed to upholding the spirit of collaboration, particularly on the issue of homelessness, which despite the pandemic and the recession and racial justice issues, continues to be the #1 thing that San Diegans talk to me about. They see the epidemic of homelessness on our streets every single day, and they're crying for leadership to do something about it. This is something we can do. We need a lot more of it. So let's just remember that there is no amount of people living on our streets that we ought to be comfortable with. One person is too many. And that's why I've set the goal of ending chronic homelessness in our city, in our administration. And we will do that work every single day, starting next Thursday. I thank you for your time and for your participation, for caring about the most vulnerable in our community. And like our mayor, I want to give my sincere appreciation to everyone who made this possible, our nonprofit partners, our private sector partners, but in particular, as he mentioned, our city employees. Folks who may have been doing something back in March, who are now doing something here on site. That's a kind of reflection of the can-do attitude, the public servants, 11,000 strong, that make this city work. When asked, they have stepped up. And the results are there, everybody. Hundreds of people permanently housed, thousands of COVID-19 diagnoses prevented, lives that have been saved. So let's be grateful for what we have here. Let's endeavor to continue the progress we've made, and let's make sure that we're a city that ends chronic homelessness. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Todd. Next, I'd like to welcome the council member, obviously not just for this district and our assembly member elect, but the co-chair on the regional task force for the homelessness, who has been and this project a champion and a supporter since day one. Chris Ward. Chris?
Great. Well, thank you, Mayor Faulconer. Thank you, Assemblymember Gloria. It is my pleasure to be here with you because, as we know, for the time that's passed since April, hundreds of San Diegans have found shelter here in the convention center. This move, as you heard, has saved lives. It's allowed homeless individuals to shelter in place safely. It's created opportunities for appropriate physical distancing with our entire shelter network. And this Operation Shelter to Home was established out of a desire and a responsibility to utilize all available tools and services and spaces to safeguard the health and safety of all San Diegans. Now, due to the hard work and dedication of the providers you've heard here, thank you, Alpha Project and Father Joe's Villages and Veterans Villages of San Diego, and of course the Housing Commission and the Regional Task Force on the Homeless and many others, we have demonstrated a continued commitment and collaboration to protect the most vulnerable among us from the spread of the coronavirus. Now, frontline workers are preparing clients to move into 2 hotels with the potential to offer another 330 units of permanent supportive housing and on-site supportive services. This purchase was approved by the council, my colleagues and I, because we know when a person is housed with partnered comprehensive wraparound services, we can effectively end that individual's homelessness. And we are grateful to Governor Newsom and Todd and Tony and our legislative partners as well for the Project Home Key dollars and the assistance that they've been working on. We need to do more of this. For those experiencing chronic homelessness and with layered challenges, permanent supportive housing is the proven model, and we will continue on that course. Converting distressed hotels, properties, and other spaces into new supportive residential communities is something that I've been advocating since I began representing this 3rd Council District in 2017. And as this week, as my term ends on the San Diego City Council, and I look forward, thanks to the voters, to be the opportunity to serve in the California State Assembly, I am committed to taking these lessons, these best practices, these improvements that we've seen, even dynamically in real time, right here in the convention center, to make sure that statewide our programs, our dollars are being operated and funded effectively and truly with the one goal to make sure that we are ending people's homelessness. We need to fight for a permanent stream of homelessness funding because the work is not done, and we have a lot of work ahead of us to do here in San Diego, in Los Angeles, Orange County, the Bay Area, and across the state of California. And we cannot have the rug ripped out from under us. We need to make sure that we are focused on the ultimate goal, and that is housing support. We need comprehensive statewide planning. We need updated care and wraparound services so that all of the most vulnerable in the Golden State are treated appropriately, helpfully, and ultimately with the goal to make sure that their homelessness is resolved. My priority here representing San Diego is to make sure that we serve and house our most vulnerable populations, and that will continue with my work and my advocacy for you at the state. I want to thank so much all those that are here today, those who they represent, the workers who are behind us right now, and those that have been working here over the last 9 months, doing the hard work. We are so grateful for the lives that you have helped, for the futures that you have transformed, for so many individuals that have been asking for this kind of leg up. And we have gotten there for hundreds. We have thousands more to go, and so we're going to continue to make sure that ultimately that goal is realized and that we have no chronic homelessness here in this America's finest city. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Very well said. Now to talk more about the new opportunity with some of the hotels that we are converting and the housing efforts that are underway. Please welcome our President and CEO of the Housing Commission, Rick Gentry. Rick?
Operation Shelter to Home has demonstrated what we can accomplish to address homelessness in San Diego. Collaboration and coordination are essential. The San Diego Housing Commission has worked closely with the city, the county, the Regional Task Force on the Homeless, and several organizations here at the Convention Center. This includes leading and staffing the housing navigation team on site. Since April, this team has helped connect more than 800 individuals and 53 families to permanent and longer-term housing. This team also has been working with hundreds more people experiencing homelessness who will soon be moving into furnished rental homes of their own. Their new homes will be at the 2 hotel properties the San Diego Housing Commission purchased just last Wednesday. to create some 332 new permanent housing units, which will house approximately 400 individuals. We work closely with Mayor Faulconer, and I'll point out Mayor Faulconer's leadership on this was essential. What he indicated to you a minute ago, that we started before there was a program, was not the norm at all, and his leadership has been essential. The mayor and the city, we identified, evaluated, and purchased these 3 properties, running through 29 hotels to get the 2 best. And this is one in Kearney Mesa and one in Mission Valley on Hotel Circle. As I said a minute ago, we just completed the hotel purchases last week, using funding from the Housing Commission, the city, the state's Project Home Key program, and a loan from Chase Bank. All those funding sources made this purchase possible. We are now preparing for residents to begin moving into these new permanent housing units approximately 10 days from now. We have also, the Housing Commission has committed federal vouchers, rental housing vouchers to this effort, which will also cover the financing effort here. These rent vouchers will help pay the rent for the residents of the new units at both properties. Also, we are contracting with Father Joe's Villages and Path San Diego to provide on-site supportive services that are so important to help these households get back on their feet. These type of projects have proven effective at creating housing solutions to help San Diegans move off the streets and out of shelters. San Diego is fortunate indeed to have leaders committed to working together and implementing these innovative solutions to homelessness. Our political leaders in particular, Mayor Faulconer, who I mentioned a minute ago, Mayor-elect Gloria, Councilmember Ward, who will be joining the State Assembly, and Council Supervisor Fletcher, have all been central to making this happen. I also want to thank our partners who've done the grunt work on this property, and that's heavily the Regional Task Force on the Homeless. The CEO, Tamra Kohler, is here with us today. Tamra, thank you greatly. And also for the service providers who've been essential to Operation Shelter to Home, including Deacon Vargas and his team at Father Joe's, and also Bob Mcelroy here with us today and his team at Alpha Project as well. My thanks also go to 2 other boards. One is the Commission Board, the Board of the Housing Commission itself, as well as the City Council acting as the Housing Authority Board, which gave ultimate approval to do this purchase, the purchase of the 2 hotels in October. And finally, I would like to acknowledge and thank the outstanding staff across many departments of the Housing Commission, led by Lisa Jones, who I see standing in the audience back there, who have worked hard here at Operation Shelter to Home and on the hotel purchases. This has been a job well done, and I think congratulations are due to everyone here included. And off script, just a personal note to end this as well, my part of it at least, and that is in November of 2014, the Housing Commission's Housing First San Diego plan was announced by then Mayor and still Mayor Kevin Faulconer, and then Council President and Mayor-elect Todd Gloria. And I think the nonpartisan cooperation you've seen here with our political leaders has been and will continue to be essential to get this done. And we need to show our intense gratitude and appreciation to the nonpartisan political approach that our leaders have taken. So Kevin and Todd and Chris, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate those words, Rick. Thank you. Now to talk more about the regional approach is Tamra Kohler, who is CEO of the Regional Task Force on the Homeless. Tamra.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Faulconer. I'm really honored to join this group up here. I've had the opportunity to do this work on a state level at the state of Utah for the city of Seattle before joining San Diego. And I can attest that the political will that exists behind me and the partners like Rip from the Convention Center and our service providers and Bob are why we're here to celebrate this level of success. Strategically, we moved quickly but with intent around addressing the crisis that was about to happen in a pandemic with our homeless population. The fact that there are so many of us gathered here is not symbolic, but it is a testament to the collaboration and cooperation across the region at all levels of government that it takes to end homelessness. It's important to reflect on what it took to get us here, but also the successes that have happened here at the Convention Center, but also regionally as well. It's also especially important that we remember the very individuals that we've been helping as we set up a safe shelter, the people behind the numbers. They have also played a very important role. The success we've had with very low infection rates and the high number of housing exits is due in no small part to their commitment. They were highly motivated to stay safe and achieve housing stability. 900 of them spent the night here last night, and we have housed nearly 800 of them, Lisa? And in that time, I can tell you that an individual experiencing homelessness has to help in that process. The safe environment exists because of their motivation, their understanding of what it takes to be safe. Their need for a home was somewhat abated in a convention center model. But our ultimate goal when we put this strategy together, as the mayor said as he watched the whiteboard come together, was with housing always in mind. That was always our intent and our exit strategy. So we should applaud those who have helped in their own housing stability, those sheltered here now and those who have moved to housing as well, and their own personal commitment to safety and their own personal commitment to housing. To truly end homelessness in San Diego County, it is required that we take the lessons we've learned here and apply them and extend them to every corner of the county. While we look at the data, we also have to continue to talk and listen to the people who we are trying to assist. Their voice, their insight is important, and it matters. Regional success will always take political courage that we have seen come together. Fortunately, I know that we have those leaders throughout the region, in many of our cities and in our county. And because of those leaders across the county, I know we will take these lessons and apply them. We will continue to play a larger role in how we address homelessness. We will strategize, we will coordinate, and we will implement with intent. For an example, we know Chula Vista is moving to open a shelter, and there is additional work happening across the region to not only shelter, but to exit people to housing. Our job at the Regional Task Force is to bring lessons learned, best practices, and emerging practices, things like what we have crafted here at Operation Shelter to Home, to all of the programs across the region, to fill the gaps if they may exist, and strengthen the effectiveness of those throughout the county. I believe we are on a good path. I believe we have made huge inroads. I believe that we can end homelessness in San Diego County. And I'm looking forward to working with our elected officials, Mayor-elect Gloria, Rick at the Housing Authority, Mayor Faulconer. I appreciate all your leadership and where you may go in the next iteration. To Chris Ward, who has chaired the Regional Task Force, my deepest gratitude. To our service providers, to Bob and Deacon, to all of the other service providers who came and provided supports as well, and to the amazing staff at the Convention Center. To open up your home, to really shelter a population in need, will never be forgotten. And we appreciate all of the efforts. And I applaud the good work we've done today and the courageous homeless population that we work so hard to assist. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tamra. Very, very heartfelt. Spot on. Next, please welcome our gracious hosts, actually, here at Operation Shelter at Home for the past 8 months, an incredible team from our convention center, President and CEO Rip Ripito. Rip?
Good morning, everyone. You know, 8 months ago, we gathered here to talk about what we were going to be doing and looking at what was going to happen as we were in the midst of canceling a lot of events, conventions, trade shows, which number over 100. And we were adjusting to the idea that we would have an entirely different kind of year ahead of us. This has been, for many of us on our team, one of the most challenging years of our careers, but it's also been one of the most rewarding and humbling because of our opportunity to be able to share and working with such great leaders that are standing here behind me and so many others, and the residents who we've come to know and love, and being able to move forward together even though we were facing such enormous odds and wondering what would be next. And yet it's so rewarding for us to be able to stand here together and to take pride in what we've been part of. Now, we've worked hard to provide this space and to be gracious hosts, and part of that is that we have learned how to do more when it comes to operating safely within venues. We have understood what to do when it comes to PPE. We have new cautionary safe methods of cleaning and providing infection control. And so as we have moved this year forward, we've done that with knowing that we actually have been open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week during a pandemic, and there are very few venues across the world who can actually share in that. Now, we've worked hard to provide this safe and most safe, cautious space that we can, and by implementing all of these, this effort has positioned the San Diego Convention Center as one of the most experienced convention centers in the world. And as we have been doing this work, we have sought out new methods and certifications. We were the first convention center, or among the first in North America, to achieve the GBAC STAR certification, which is a certification that was established by the Global Biorisk Advisory Council and thought of by many as that gold standard, the epitome of what a good, safe venue should be. Then in October, our food and beverage partner, which is Centerplate Sodexo, Centerplate was the first convention center in North America to achieve the Rice Safe Hygiene Verification label for food and beverage services. And I'm so proud of their efforts and what they've done. To date, they have served over 800,000 meals to our residents and here on site, and have continued to be so great in how they approach their protocols and providing good food, but not just doing that, being so safe. So as a team, with all of us here and our partners, we know that we can open safely when we're allowed to do that again. We will be doing that cautiously, and we will be doing that safely in the future. I want to thank and applaud the leadership of our mayor, the leadership of our council member, leadership of our mayor-elect, state representatives, the county, the supervisors, the health department, the providers, the residents, everyone who has done anything to help with the Operation Shelter to Home. I applaud all of your efforts, and Mayor-elect Gloria, we look forward to welcoming you back to the fold and being part of our operation even more than what you've already done. So thank you very much. And finally, I want to recognize our team specifically. We have such a dedicated and caring team. I'm so grateful for the compassion, the passion, the skill of our team and what they do every day. Our team, along with Centerplate, Smart City, On-Site, and FedEx, who are all of our partners in-house, and all of our labor partners, have done such a fantastic job. And even though we haven't been doing our primary role of being that economic engine for the region, we have been able to be part of something that has been so incredible, that helps to serve our community, and it lives out our core values as we continue to support some of the most vulnerable pieces and parts and members of our population here locally. We're very proud of that, and we are grateful to have been the host and continue to be the host for Operation Shelter to Home. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Rip, so much. Before I introduce Bob Mcelroy, I also wanted to thank one other person who's really been a jack of all trades here from the Convention Center, who never likes to get singled out, but I'm going to single her out, Ashley Bailey. Ashley, thank you for all of your tireless hard work and energy over these very long months. Done a fantastic job. And last and certainly not least, it's my pleasure to introduce Bob Mcelroy. As I mentioned earlier, all of our providers that have provided the care, the love, the support, and the determination that says you can do this have really represented the best of our city. Whether it was VVSD, Father Joe's Villages, and of course, Alpha Project. And Bob, I just want to say it really helped be the heartbeat of this effort. So proud of you and the Alpha team, day in and day out. You've made a huge difference. Please welcome Bob Mcelroy.
Thank you, Governor. And congratulations, Todd. You got my vote. We talked years ago, and I respect these two guys because they spent a lot of time on the streets with me and all of our folks. And I know their primary concern are the folks that are out here in the street. You guys took all the good stuff already, thanking everybody. But I know 3 people in the crowd right now that need a day off. That's Lisa at the House Commission. That's Deanne, and that's Keeley. You guys need to get a life. You've been here every day for how long? We've been here 6, 7 years. We've been here a while. Amen. All the thanks go. I've done this for a long time, and just see the coordinated effort here, the resources we had on site here, everything from the medical clinics and doc and the county and the city. I can take this off now, right? Awesome. Where else in San Diego do you need sunscreen in December? Just seeing everybody come and together, the city and the county working together, the clinics from all over San Diego. You can tell by listening to me, I've never darkened the door of a library, but the librarians in here have been fantastic, connecting people with resources that, I never even knew existed. The fire department, the lifeguards, the police department, certainly the convention center. Rip and your team have been fantastic, welcoming our people, making our people feel comfortable. This is not easy. Waking up every morning in the middle of a gigantic room and staying motivated and having the patience to do so. Kevin, we get those phone calls all the time on getting stuff done. Something's wrong, we can fix it right away. That's where you got my respect. We don't talk about doing things, we do things. And I want to give props to our residents that are here, those who have been here, those who are housed, those that are here today. The resilience, the spirit, the patience that they have to get up and keep going every single day. We've housed more than 800 people here. It's the stories that we don't hear. Those people that got jobs on their own, moved back with their families, got their own places. I'll come down here and talk about, where's Susan today? Well, Susan got a job, she moved out. Well, she didn't tell me. We don't capture that. All the folks here that go to City College every day, doing their studies, they're making the most of their time here, waiting for that day, if and when it comes, that they'll have their own place. And the biggest challenge is, we'd house everybody here if there was an inventory. There is no inventory of low-income housing in San Diego or any other city. That's why 60 cities and 80 delegations from Washington, D.C., Bend, Carson, and all around the country have come to San Diego. But they all face the same dilemma. We want people to have housing, but there isn't any. And it takes years and decades to build. Well, I don't think we're going to build our way out of it. I think the idea of taking these motels and turning them into facilities for our folks, that's a tremendous idea and a tremendous resource. We need more of it. Unfortunately, there's not a bunch out there. So it's a blessing for us to be able to have a place to stay today. It's a blessing for us to, obviously, the 300 people that are going to be moving into facilities. We still have a place to go. We'll have the convention center. We still have the bridge shelters. We have Golden Hall, so that nobody goes back on the streets. And the miracle to me is to see people that I've known out in those streets for 25 years that have always been resistant to coming into facilities, this shelter mentality, who have come in here for the first time and are housed today. They came in here non-judgmental. They accessed the resources that were here. They did what we asked them to do, and they have places to stay today. So there's miracles that happen here every single day. And I wish I could give everybody an Academy Award for all the work that they've done. If I give you a day off, I would. I'll talk to your bosses. But we need more of this. Like I said, there's a reason why folks come to San Diego to see what we're doing here. We do it better than everybody else. Amen? Amen. God bless you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, everybody. A significant team effort. With that, all of us will be available to answer any questions one-on-one. Thank you very much.